The next category now is the surprise package. For this one, I'm not giving nominees. So we're just going to give our own because obviously right now this is going to be personalized. So this is going to be based on our opinion and how we judge um, the team, in terms of their performance, for us to rate them as the surprise package of the season. And keep in mind that we're going to be giving, or rather, for the surprise package of the season, we'll be speaking on two categories, or rather, two subcategories. First of all, surprise package of the season in terms of team of the season. So surprise package team of the season, and then we would move on to surprise package player of the season. All right, then. So first of all, let's take off surprise package team of the season. For me, surprise package team of the season, for sure for me has to be Nottingham Forest. Considering the fact that I didn't expect them to be in the mix for Europe, that that for me has to be the major thing. I didn't expect them to be in the mix for Europe. I was expecting them to have a very, very solid 11th or 12th place position, basically an improvement from struggling to survive relegation. That's what I expected from Forest. But obviously, the Forest players really, really turned up for the team this season. And, there's just a lot of quality in that Nottingham Forest team. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to speak too much about Forest. You might think I'm a Forest fan, but honestly, they've been fantastic this season. So for me, they're my surprise package of the season. Toby?
Absolutely, I'm right there with you. It has to be Nottingham Forest. It's one of them. It's not. I wouldn't even consider them like a classic Barclays club because that era of Barclays, Forest wasn't really a part of the Prem at that time, or at least part of the division at that time. But it's one where when you watch a lot of like people who talk about the sport, who talk about the past and like the history. Nottingham Forest is a historical English club, and everybody was happy to have them back in the Premier League. We were all hoping, okay, it would be cool to see Forest make it back up there to be part of the big boys, but not this fast, not this quick, not this secure with the way they're doing it. I love everything about Forest. I like where they are positioned in terms of like the kind of players they have, the way they play. They didn't necessarily follow that brand of passing out from the back, possession-based football. They can do that if they need to in part of segments of the game, but they really take it to the opposition very direct, very entertaining to watch, and very good defenders as well. The coach has been amazing. Their owner can be a bit extra sometimes, but I love that energy. It's all about personalities, so I'm okay with that as well. He hasn't crossed the line too bad, in my opinion. So I think so far so good. I enjoy him. But yeah, overall, Nottingham Forest is definitely my surprise package team of the year. Fantastic from them.
All right, then that's it from Toby Nottingham Forest as well, same as myself. Anu?
So yeah, the perfect trio, Nottingham Forest. They came 17th last year, 32 points. They have managed to get twice as many points, 64 this year, and they're currently seventh. I think last season people had, a lot of problems with their signings, right? I know they signed a lot of players last year, and for some reason, the media was extremely upset by that. But when you're playing in a very hard league, you need to sign a lot of players, guys. So I can't really blame them for that part of things. I still remember last year also they had some points removed as well, right? So the fact that they've managed to have so many problems from last year and then this year they have managed to take the league by storm and be in the European places is extremely impressive. So yes, it needs to be Forest.
All right, then. And we move to the next subcategory, surprise package of the season, surprise package player of the season. But first of all, before we move into that, just for clarity's sake, Nottingham Forest is the TME podcast surprise package team of the season. So now to the surprise package player of the season. For me, still sticking within the Forest line, it's Matt Sells, talking about their goalkeeper. He's been a brilliant signing for them. I honestly did not know how good of a keeper he was till he came into the Premier League this season. His name had been flying about in Europe for a couple of transfer windows, and then he finally made the move to Forest, and For me, he's been fantastic. I think he's a major reason why the back four has been prolific as well. I think he's got 18 clean sheets, if I'm not mistaken, in the Premier League this season. Pardon me, 13, 13 actually. Um, Currently tied with David Raya of Arsenal with 13 clean sheets. So um, it's going down to the wire today. Obviously, today being the day that we're recording this, so final day of the season for the Premier League, and then we'll be able to crown, the goalkeeper of the season, obviously based on who has the most clean sheets. So currently tied with David Raya, but honestly, he has been brilliant for Forest. I think he's a major pillar of the way they play out. Obviously, they don't usually play from the back. Usually from him pinging the balls to the right players at the right time. Sometimes it's Chris Wood, sometimes it's Callum Hudson-Odoi, depending on the opposition. And I think he's been brilliant for them. Also, I like the fact that he's selectively vocal. Most great goalkeepers are usually extremely vocal, but I think he chooses when to speak. And I think he's just a brilliant person to have in the dressing room as well, according to what you see from Snapchat from Ola Aino and obviously from what his other teammates say as well. But yeah, honestly, he's a top lad, and I think for me, he's been my surprise package of the season. So Martel's for me, my surprise package of the season. Toby?
I'm gonna mention my two nominees that I had for surprise package player of the season. I've been battling with it all day, but when I consider, I'll make the argument for both of them, and I'll tell you why my surprise package player of the season is going to be Jacob Murphy from Newcastle. The other name I was thinking about was Yohan Wissa because I didn't really expect him, considering obviously Brentford is a very very consistent side in the Premier League now. They've established themselves as a middle table side. They don't have the biggest budget, but they play good football. Thomas Frank is an amazing coach. You can expect a consistent display from them every season. But when they lost their main man, Ivan Tony, I was very worried in terms of them getting goals because they weren't going to go into the market and buy a direct Ivan Tony level replacement because that's going to cost you a lot of money. So they found a solution internally in Yohan Wissa, and I did not expect him and Brandon Buemo to be as consistent and as clutch as they have been for their team. But the reason why I'm going to make Jacob Murphy my surprise package player is because in a good side like Brentford, where Wissa and Buemo are always going to start, they're going to be the first names on the team sheet. They do have the opportunities to always get those, not necessarily scripted plays, but when you play in a good team that creates good chances, you're going to have a chance to make an assist or score a goal. Jacob Murphy is not a starter for Newcastle in theory. When people talk about Jacob Murphy, you consider him in your mind as a sub, as a bench player that's going to, help the squad to be able to make it through the season. But he's shown that, like, any player, if given a chance, if they put in the hard work, and use their actual skills, can be an amazing addition to any team. He's made his most assists this year. I believe he's on 15 assists for Newcastle, which is a great number in my opinion, considering where Salah is at with 18. So he has been a very, very, very consistent contributor. Isak has enjoyed playing with him. I think the progression of Jacob Murphy, at least in that side, was very exciting to me. I could see the world where Wissa could be that player for Brentford, but I did not see a world where Jacob Murphy could be the starting right winger for Newcastle. Considering the great season they have, I have to give him a lot of props for being a big part of that. So for me, my surprise package player is Jacob Murphy of Newcastle.
Solid shout right there by Toby.
Thank you.
I think the best thing about Jacob Murphy for me this season was the caliber of goals he scored. My oh my, the kind of goals he scored this season have been absolutely crazy. A lot of worldies, a lot of worldies. And then talking about his goals as well, his goals have come at clutch moments, for Newcastle. Very important goals from Jacob Murphy this season. And as aside like his general match performance, which you always know that Jacob Murphy is going to give you 110%. And his performances this season have been so good that somehow, some way, Newcastle were able to let go of Miguel Almiron in January, and then it just seemed like Almiron wasn't even a main part of the team just because of how good Jacob Murphy was for me, in my own opinion. So, solid shout right there by Toby. Just a quick reminder: I said earlier that my surprise package play of the season was Okay, I've actually forgotten who I nominated. I think yeah, Matt Sales, yeah, Matt Sales. So for me, it's Matt Sales. For Toby, is Jacob Murphy. I know.
So the Murphy shot is a really good one. Same for Cells actually. Cells actually I think he could play for like a bigger team.
Mm,
But for my pick for the player who was the most surprising has to be Mr. Ryan Gravenberch. I mean, he had 12 starts in his first season, played just over 1,000 minutes this season, over 3,000 minutes. Started 36 of the 37 games. I still remember last summer, people were saying that Liverpool needed a six, right? This dude had never played six before, played 8-10 before. He easily slotted into the six, no problem whatsoever. He has been completely revolutionized. And I think a lot of credit has to go to Slot, but also I think a lot of credit has to go to the player as well, because he's not playing in a role that he knows, right? But he's playing in the hardest league in the world and has managed to um, figure it out. So I am so proud of him. I am like super excited to see what he does next season too. But yeah, for my surprise of the season, it has to be him.
great there. So honestly, I think all our opinions are valid in terms of surprise package player of the season. And yeah, since obviously none of us have the same two answers, we'll just leave it at that. Those are the surprise package players for us on the TME podcast. Matt Sells, um, Jacob Murphy, and obviously Ryan Gravenberch as well. These are the surprise players for us. And now that I think about it, talking about Ryan Gravenberch, I think what Slot did for him was absolutely fantastic. Because if we're thinking about um, the ideal type of number six in terms of the good combination of physique and technique, I think that's what Ryan Gravenberch is actually. And considering how young he is, it's absolutely exciting. I mean, as a football lover, I want to see how well he's going to develop. I know he's got good technique. I know that he doesn't necessarily have the flashy skills that Paul Pogba has, but he's very, very decent on the ball. And I think he makes a lot of difficult things look easy as well. So big up to Ryan Gravenberch, man. That's a key player that everyone is going to be looking out for in the future, especially with Liverpool. Who knows? He's someone that I feel is a natural target for Real Madrid. So he might not just end his career at Liverpool. You might just see him playing for um, a bigger team. Liverpool is a big team, don't get me wrong, but in the grand scheme of things, sometimes we do have bigger teams.
Oof.
The next